There was a song by Mary Mary, and I think it was something like, "Do you love God? I love God. Do you love God? I love God." And sometimes we find ourselves saying, "Oh, yes, I love God. There's nothing I wouldn't do for the Lord." But when we do things for others, did you know we're actually doing them for Him? And if we truly love God, then we're going to have to love our neighbor as ourselves. And we're going to have to be able to reach out to them. And sometimes our neighbor may not be as neatly dressed as we are. Sometimes our neighbor may be down on their luck. Sometimes our neighbor may be in prison. Sometimes our neighbor may be homeless. But the bottom line is, no matter what they look like, no matter what situation they're in, these are still our neighbors. And when we help them, then we are also helping God. In Matthew chapter 25 and verses 31 through 40, it reads, "But when the Son of Man comes in his glory and majesty, and all the angels with him, there he will sit on the throne of his glory. All the nations will be gathered before him for judgment, and he will separate them one from another, as a shepherd separates his sheep from the goats. And he will put the sheep on his right, the place of honor, and the goats on his left, the place of rejection. Then the king will say to those on his right, 'Come, you blessed of my Father, you favored of God, appointed to eternal salvation. Inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me with help and ministering care. I was in prison, and you came to me,' ignoring personal danger. Then the righteous will answer him and say, 'Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? And when did we see you as a stranger and invite you in, or naked and clothe you? And when did we see you sick or in prison and come to you?' Then the king will answer and say to them, 'I assure you, and most solemnly say to you, to the extent that you did it for one of these brothers of mine, even the least of them, you did it for me.'" So as we go through this holiday season, and actually every day, let us reflect on being the sheep that are willing to see those who are in need and reach out to them, and not the goats who ignore them and keep on their way. This is Be Positive of the No Bad News podcast, and I am wishing you and yours a be positive day and week.